We're moving into our fall season, and there's a full moon this Friday, so just a lot of reminders to start slowing down and go internal. Throughout our practice, if you feel uncomfortable or anything that I'm guiding you through, feel free to just come on out and make this feel comfortable for you. We have our child's pose, which is a really nice recovery position if you just need a breather or just simply laying on your back. And on that note, we will begin in our child's pose today. So we'll just take the knees really wide, the toes will find each other, and we'll start to just release the forehead to the floor. And if this position is uncomfortable for you, feel free to use the blankets, maybe even sitting, placing that blanket on top of the heels in between the sit bones and the heels for a little bit more height, a little more cushion. Good. So as we slowly start to settle into practice, we just kind of notice this space that we're in, this new yoga space on our mats in this beautiful studio. We start to notice the breath moving in and out of the body. We start to just take inventory of the physical body and beginning to draw that awareness towards the forehead. We start to deeply inhale through the nose and again deeply exhale through the mouth. Just giving ourselves permission to arrive tonight, to unwind a little bit more, to let go of this Monday, to recharge and gift ourselves this time of self-care. And just a reminder to keep tuning into your practice tonight. We're all going to look a little different. We're all going to move a little different. So keep bringing that focus and awareness back to your body and your breath. And as we continue priming the breath, we intentionally shift our breathing again into inhaling through the nose, filling the belly, and then slowly exhaling, releasing breath through the mouth. And as we encourage these deeper, slower breaths, I invite you to maybe even count the breath tonight. So we might count 1, 2, 3, 4, however deep you can take this breath, inhaling. And then slowly exhaling, releasing breath through the mouth. Again, finding that counted breath. Maybe counting to 3 or 4. And just reminders, if you do have cell phones on, feel free to just hop up and put those on silent. No worries. Good, just inhaling and slowly tuning back in. And I just wanted to take a moment to shout out to Wave Street Studios tonight, this beautiful space that we're in. There is so much that goes on behind the scenes. We have camera women, cameramen. This is our passion and our love project. So feel free to support any way you can, tuning in to YouTube, of course, sharing us on social media. You can find me, Andrea Woodhall. I'm Woodhall Wellness on my website and social media as well, teaching around the Monterey Peninsula. Continuing to tune into that breath. Again, we fill the belly through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And here in this position, we start to just walk the fingertips a little bit further, a little bit longer, opening up with the undersides of the shoulders, the heart center. We notice the knees, the hips, the ankles. We notice the wrists, the fingers, the shoulders. We start to just arrive with this deep respect for ourselves tonight, honoring this space, honoring this practice, and remembering that every day is so different, so just meet yourself where you are today. There's no judgment. There's no comparison. This is your practice. We keep tuning back in. If you go too deep, just come out, readjust. Make this your own tonight. And as we gently inhale, we'll begin to half lift the torso. Let's walk the hands over to right side. We'll again release the heaviness of the head. We'll tuck the chin. We start to bow into the knees, bow into the belly. If it's available, we'll place that left palm on top of the right. We'll interlace those fingers. If it feels good, we can even kind of sway into the hips, release the back of the neck. Just find a nice deep space. I just invite you to take this time to explore the body. Just see what's there, see what extra movement we can find. Another inhale, we gently half lift. We'll walk the heaviness of the body over towards opposite side, bowing the head, releasing, tucking the chin. Just finding a comfortable space where the body can naturally move into. And if it's available, we'll place that right palm on top of the left, maybe interlace those fingers, and just walking the hands a little further. If it feels comfortable, swaying into the hips, releasing the head, and just really using that breath tonight. Another deep inhale, we'll slowly come back through center space. Let's release the forehead, release the hands. And with the palms facing the ground, I'll be walking around offering adjustments. This might feel like some small pressure on the low spine, just helping you get a little bit deeper into postures. If you'd prefer not to be touched today, feel free to place the palms facing the ceiling so I know to give you some space. With palms facing down, I'll be offering adjustments. Palms facing up, you'd like some space tonight. And as we slowly exhale, we'll press the palms away, we'll curve into the spine, and we'll start to find a seated posture on those knees, on those heels. The knees will draw in towards each other. If this is uncomfortable on the knees, feel free to just find the sit bones and come into a space that does feel better for your body. Always feel free to lift the hips onto that blanket as well. As we inhale again, we'll place the hands on the belly center tonight. We'll think about lengthening through the crown of the head, retracting the chin, allowing the shoulders to roll back, the heart opening. And we start to really feel into this belly breathing. We'll intentionally exaggerate the breath to fill the belly as we inhale through the nose. Exhaling, releasing, relaxing. Breath through the mouth. Inhaling, filling the belly, expanding the ribs. And exhaling, releasing, relaxing the eyebrows, letting go of the jaw. And just a few more rounds at this nice slow pace. Feel free to come back to that counted breath as we inhale to 3 or 4. Take a small pause at the top of the breath and then exhaling, releasing. Again, counting, slowing down. If it's in your practice or you'd like to practice new tonight, we invite these deep exhales, our ujjayi breath. So this exhale with sound, this small whisper in the back of the throat, as if we're kind of fogging up a mirror or blowing out that candle. Feel free to make some sound. It allows the nervous system to let go even more. Inhaling, filling as deep as we can, filling the body with nourishing breath. Exhaling, releasing every last drop, releasing toxins, releasing stress. On our next inhale, we'll slowly fill the belly. Let's release the fingertips. We'll sweep around the room. We'll gaze towards the ceiling. Palms will find each other. Exhale, release the palms to the heart. We'll take a moment to take 2 deep breaths. Again, that nice juicy inhale and big deep exhale. On the next inhale, releasing fingertips. Again, sweeping around the room as if we're painting the fingertips along the ceiling. Palms will find each other. And then keeping palms here, we're going to interlace the fingers. Let's drop the chin so biceps are at the ears. And then bending elbows, tuck the chin, release the back of the head. And then release the palms so as if we're kind of reaching towards the shoulders. We open up the armpits, the heart center. Inhaling, we'll slowly start to lift fingertips back to ceiling. The eyes will find the fingertips. And then exhale, palms release back to heart center. Let's close the eyes for 2 more deep breaths. And if it feels better for you to keep the eyes open, just find a gentle gaze on the floor. I just invite you to set a new intention for your practice tonight. And just anything that comes to mind, a word, a phrase, a color, something of meaning to you. So when the mind starts to wander, as it always does, we can think of this word, this phrase, this feeling, And we bring that awareness, that focus right back to this practice, this breath, this sensation in the body. And just remember, it's not easy for any of us, so we just practice together. On the next inhale, filling the belly. As we exhale, we start to press the palms deep into each other. Drop the shoulders away from ears. Open the heart center. And we find that belly breath again with the contraction of the hands, the shoulders, the wrists. As we exhale, we'll release the fingertips. Let's C-curve the fingers and we'll pull out as if we're opening the heart, the shoulders, the chest center. We're lifting tall through the spine. As we exhale again, let's place the palms together. We'll press deep into the palms. Release the shoulders, open the heart. Good, soften the eyebrows, releasing the jaw. And again, finding that inhale, we'll pull. We'll feel that engagement of the core, that belly center. We'll draw into the spine. And then inhaling again, pressing into those palms. And then just find that deep breath. On the next inhale, we slowly release those palms to the knees. So making sure that you do feel comfortable in the knees, feel free to shimmy into a space that feels good. We'll begin to release the right palm to right side and sweeping overhead, just tilting the body into this right arm. So options here, if you have blocks, you can use the blocks for some support, maybe under elbow or hand. And we'll just slowly release the side of the neck. Maybe we'll open and close from side to side, releasing any tension. Using that breath as we inhale and exhale to each side. We'll inhale, let's sweep through center. We'll head over to opposite side. And again, just banking into wherever feels naturally comfortable. We'll release the side of the neck, relaxing those eyebrows. And then filling the belly with air, releasing through the mouth. Maybe rotating the neck from side to side. Another deep inhale, we'll fill the belly. On the exhale, let's draw the navel in. We'll sweep through center. And we'll start to roll forward on the hands. So if you have some room in front of you, we'll just start to shift the weight into the wrists. We'll gently draw the knees underneath those hips. And we start to kind of just rock forward and back into wrists, back into the tops of the ankles, the feet. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. Imagining that spine as a nice flat tabletop. Forward and back rocking. Remember to inhale and exhale. And if you lose that breath, just find those exhales. As we find center space, we'll take a pause. We'll slowly start to release the belly. We'll come right into our cow. We'll open the front of the throat. We'll gaze up towards the ceiling. And then slowly exhaling, tucking the chin, rolling the spine, pressing through the palms, pressing through the knees. And then again, inhaling, we'll just find a nice flow. So whatever pace feels good. And just maybe take a peek down. Make sure those wrists are right underneath the shoulders. Those knees are right underneath the hip bones. Just keep readjusting, realigning the body. Conserving that energy, opening and closing. And wherever you are in the cycle, we'll take a pause in our cat. So we'll tuck the chin, we'll bow the forehead, we'll press deep into the palms, and just lifting deep into the mid-spine, the upper spine. Imagine your wings spreading as far as you can. Spreading the fingers, pressing through palms, noticing the tops of the feet, making that space in the spine. And as we slowly inhale, we'll just take a pause in our cow. So we'll drop the belly, we'll lift the tailbone. We'll inhale, eyes will find the ceiling, we'll open the front of the neck. And maybe rolling those shoulders back so the heart can propel through the shoulder gates. And again, just find that belly breathing. Allow the belly to move in this deep space. Another inhale. And then slowly exhaling, we start to continue rolling through our cat-cow, but let's add this forward and back motion as well. So kind of just allow your body to lead you. There's no right way here. We just start to lift and lower as if we're kind of flowing like a wave forward and back. Just think about tucking the pelvis and then rolling forward onto the wrists. And then lifting, curving the spine. As if we're just kind of dancing in this position, this tabletop variation. Relaxing the eyebrows. We'll take a pause here. Find your tabletop. and begin peeking over the right shoulder. We'll allow those hips to fall over to left side, and then inhaling, shifting over to opposite side. Side to side rocking, find that pace that feels good to you. Inhale and exhale. Opening the side of the neck. Think about reaching as far as you can. Maybe take a pause on each side. Reach with the hip, reach with the side of the neck. Keep rooting through the palms, the knees. Finding that space. Just letting go of this Monday, shaking out any unnecessary stress or tension. Just using this time to let go a little bit more. And as we inhale, we'll draw the knees super wide. The toes will find each other. Let's sit back onto heels. We'll find our child's pose once again, releasing the forehead. And just checking in one more time for those of you who came in a little bit later with palms facing the floor. I'll be offering adjustments. And palms facing the ceiling. You'd prefer not to be touched tonight. And as we slowly inhale, we'll roll back through our cat spine. We'll find our tabletop. Let's keep the knees really wide. We'll start to root deep into the right wrist. And then exhaling, threading the left arm underneath the right, we'll find this shoulder connecting to the floor. So feel free to kind of wag into the tailbone, side to side with the hips, shifting weight into left knee and right knee. As we find some stillness, we'll start to walk that right finger, that right hand overhead. So still connecting to the floor, just plugging the fingers in. We might teepee the palms so that just the fingertips are connecting to the floor. And again, we come back to belly breathing. Inhale through nose, big exhale with sound. So we can either stay here, or if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, the right palm will come back to the eyes, rooting deep into the floor. We'll start to shift more weight to left side. So left side knee roots deep. We'll kick back with the right heel, straightening up the right leg. Those right toes will plug deep into the floor. And think about that right shoulder. Is it hunching up towards the ear? Let's make some space. We'll roll the shoulder blade nice and flat. We'll power up that right thigh, lifting into the kneecap, reaching through the back of the heel. And again, just find the breath. Remember that mantra. Keep bringing that awareness back to this moment in our practice. We can either stay here if you'd like to go even deeper. We start to wrap this right arm around the spine. We find the low back, or maybe just tucking the fingertips into the hip crease, as if we're rolling the shoulder towards the ceiling, peeking the eyes towards the ceiling. Really rotate into the spine. Continue exhaling, sending breath from head to toe. And just relaxing the eyebrows, releasing the jaw. Another inhale will fill, we'll start to unwind, we'll come back through center space. And then just plugging the right palm in, we'll press back to tabletop. We'll start to send the right arm underneath the left. So we'll just switch sides, take your time. You can play around with knees wide or knees narrow. And just releasing that shoulder, that ear to the floor. So take your time settling in. We might kind of sway into the hips, side to side rocking, wagging that tailbone. And if it's available, we'll start to walk the fingertips overhead. We'll plug the fingers into the floor. We might even just lift the palm so that the fingertips are rooting deep into the earth, powering up the arm, feeling strength in the shoulder. So we can either stay here if you'd like to go deeper, left palm comes back to the eyes. We'll start to root deep into that left palm. We'll send more weight into right knee. And we start to kick back with the left, as if we're rotating the ribs towards the ceiling. Feel free to kind of check in with the hips here, maybe bring some movement in. And either staying here or going even deeper by binding that left arm around the torso, finding the low back, maybe tucking fingers into the hip crease. And we start to encourage the heart to peek even deeper towards the ceiling. We'll move the gaze towards the ceiling and open that left heart center. Another inhale, we fill that belly, and then slowly exhaling, releasing, unwinding, coming back to our tabletop. We'll just start to settle back in. Let's move through a few cat-cows just to find that neutral space again. You can go in both directions, circling the spine. As we start to inhale, let's root deep into the palms. We'll spread the fingers wide. We start to reach out with the right heel. So again, shifting weight into fingers and then reaching through the heel. Forward shifting, back reaching. And then kind of notice where your head is. We'll start to lift the head so it's an extension of the rest of the spine. So the breath can move easy through the body. As we find some stillness, we'll draw the knees together. We're going to send those knees over to left side, maybe shifting the palms so you have some nice stability underneath the body. We're going to open up into a side knee plank angle. And if you feel like you're kind of opening a little bit too rounded, you could always bring the body, the arm forward so you have some more length to open. Just feel it out, see what works for you. Good, slow exhale, let's roll onto knees. We're gonna come back through center space. Let's start to root through those knees again. We'll start to extend through the opposite heel. So plug those toes in, reach through the heels, and then realign the cervical spine with the rest of the spine. So we lift, the eyes are gentle, the breath is moving. We spread those fingers nice and wide. We keep rocking back and forth. And as you're ready, maybe walking that right palm forward so you have a little bit more space. We'll glue those knees together. We'll open up opposite side. Just reaching towards the ceiling. So options here also to come onto the elbow if the wrist becomes fatigued. Using those blocks if you want, if you need. As we slowly exhale, we'll draw back through center space. Let's stay on those knees. We're going to draw the palms underneath the heart center. So we'll prepare for our high to low plank on the knees, gently releasing the torso onto floor. And then palms come nice and wide. Let's keep the knees bent. The knees are going to come a little bit wider. Just resting the chin on the floor, we'll start to send those knees side to side rocking. So really allow the hips to peel off, relax the neck. Relax the face however you can. Good, big inhales and exhales, rocking and rolling. As we slowly find some stillness, we'll draw the palms back to center. Let's zip up the legs and extend through the toes. We'll roll the shoulders back. We'll plug the palms into the heart. And then elbows are squeezing deep into the rib cage. We'll lead with the crown of the head as we gently lift out of the body. So small baby cobra. If you have any low back pain, really squeeze into the glutes, the thighs. Protect that low back. As we exhale, release opposite ear onto the floor. And just find a nice breather, maybe release the legs. As we inhale next, we'll reset. We'll zip up the legs. We'll zip up the thighs. We'll roll the shoulders back, elbows tight, and begin pressing a little bit deeper this time, maybe a little bit higher. See what's available tonight. And if you've gone too far, just come back out and find that space that does feel comfortable, feels like a good challenge to you. And as we exhale, we'll slowly release again. Opposite ear finds the floor. And whichever shoulder you're peeking over, we're going to take that same side hand and connect to that same side ankle. So knee bends. We reach back to connect. If this isn't available, feel free to use the straps. Use your pant leg. Grab onto that sock. Good. And then just keep breathing, releasing that right side. Maybe closing the eyes. Thinking about reaching that same side, that right side hip flexor into the floor. So as if we're pressing the pelvis deep into the mat, drawing the heel deep into the glute. And staying on this side, stay connected with foot, toe, pant leg. We start to slowly, as if we're drawing the knee off the floor. So kind of lifting that back knee slightly. See if we can make a little space. And it doesn't have to be big, just go in that direction. And from here, if it's available, we start to kick the foot into the hand. So the arm will straighten. We'll start to create some tension in this side. So maybe knee is resting or maybe knee is lifted. Just think about engaging this whole side. That opposite left-hand side still roots deep into the floor for some support. Keep moving that belly breath. On the exhale, it's slow release. We start to zip up those legs. We'll find the big toes together, palms back into the heart. We'll draw the chin to mat, roll the shoulders back. Let's lift back into our cobra. Inhale nice and tall. Good. On the exhale, let's release onto our elbows. We find our sphinx. So we'll just shimmy the hips. We'll tuck the tailbone, zip up those thighs. Palms are flat. Let's roll the shoulders back and open. We'll gaze towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, slow release, opposite ear will find the floor. Just taking a breather here. So if you're looking over the left side, we start to reach back with that same side hand. We'll kick the knee. We'll connect with the toe, the heel, the foot, the pant leg. Always feel free to use the straps. We'll use that right palm as a kickstand to help us stay centered. So we start to think about tucking the pelvis into the floor, maybe even squeezing into the glutes, and then pulling that heel even closer to the glutes. Keep sending breath. If there's any pain, feel free to please come out and just reset, come back in. Find a space where that feels comfortable. And staying connected here, we start to gently just peel that knee off the floor. So again, just going in that direction doesn't have to be huge. Just see what your back is ready for tonight. And as you're ready, we start to kick that foot into the palm. We might roll that left shoulder open, still using that palm, that opposite palm for support. Good, nice heat in the body. As we slowly exhale, let's release down. We'll just release the palms to sides of rib cage. Chin will come to mat. We'll start to push away from the palms, reverse push up, moving through our tabletop. Take a small breather in our child's pose. Maybe left and right rocking side to side. As we inhale, we'll roll through our tabletop. We might scooch the knees forward. And then beginning to reach back. We're going to connect the hands around the heels, tucking the chin, releasing the crown of the head, and then lifting through the mid-spine. So this might look different for everyone. If that's not available, reaching onto the heels, feel free to just place the palms down and come into this really deep tuck of your cat your cat posture. If you do have the palms connecting, reach even deeper through the mid-spine, the upper spine, lifting towards the ceiling, tucking the chin, breathing, taking your time. Maybe shifting weight into knees only and then back into ankles. As we slowly inhale, we'll release the sit bones onto heels. We'll start to inhale, reaching fingertips overhead. Exhaling, releasing palms. We'll find again, moving through our tabletop. Let's start to tuck the toes. We'll start to kind of open up the base of the feet. So opening up the arches, the Achilles, the calves. We'll start nice and gentle to see what's available. We might push off and find some balance on toes and then come back. Just kind of make your way into deeper spaces and then relieve those spaces if it's too much. And whenever you're ready, we start to just find a little bit more balance. Think about really zipping up the thighs. And if it's available, so blocks are there, you can always use the blocks on sides of knees. We start to gently just lift one hand and maybe the other. And then rolling shoulders back, opening the heart. We find some balance, really zip up those legs. Use the belly breath, use the core power. And if you'd like to take it even deeper, we can draw the eyes around the room. We find the ceiling. And just notice how even the smallest shift of the gaze will change the entire posture. And if you fall out, no worries, just come back in when you're ready. We'll slowly exhale, releasing palms, releasing eyes back to floor. We'll untuck those toes. And just sitting down onto the heels, we start to sweep the arms once again, gazing towards the ceiling. We'll start to just release the right arm underneath the left. The elbows find each other. We'll wrap the wrists and interlace fingers. As we inhale, we'll open on up, tipping behind the body, small baby back bend. As we exhale, slowly tuck into the body, cocoon yourself. And just find the breath. Again, inhaling, lifting, and lengthening. And then slowly exhaling, diving forward. Spreading those wings behind the body. And as we next inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. Let's start to unwind the arms. We'll sweep again overhead. And then opposite elbow tucks underneath. We'll start to wind up those wrists. And again, we just find those same openings of the heart. Exhaling, tucking into the body. Noticing the shoulders. Just keep breathing through, opening, closing. Finding that patience, finding that courage to go even deeper, physically, emotionally. Keep tuning into your breath and your power, into this space on your yoga mat. This sacred time of self-care. Just really dive in and enjoy this time. As we open and lift again, we'll release the arms. Let's sweep overhead. Exhale, palms find each other. We'll release the palms back to the mat and then begin tucking toes. We'll start to gently lift those hips. We'll come into our first inversion, our downward dog. So options here, if wrists are fatigued, feel free to come onto elbows. You can always use those knees. Take a breather, come back in when you need to. So we'll consider this our home base. We'll come back to this quite a bit tonight. So reaching through those heels, maybe pedaling left and right side, wagging into the tailbone, just opening up the posterior chain. We start to spread the fingers nice and wide. Again, pressing deep into thumbs and pointer fingers to relieve a little bit of stress of the wrists. And then as if we're kind of pushing the palms into the mat and lifting the shoulder blades, lifting the shoulders. We'll start to reach the heart center towards the floor. Feet will come hip width apart. As we inhale, we lift high onto tippy toes. Exhale, release heels to floor. Inhale, lift high onto tippy toes. Exhale, release those heels. Good, keep going, find a flow, find that pace that feels good to you. As we next inhale, we lift to tippy toes. We'll take a pause. We start to bend deep into the knees. And then exhale, let's straighten up the legs. So we'll stay on the tippy toes, just bending, squatting deep. Exhale, straightening, lifting tailbone. Good. Again, always feel free to come onto elbows, take a breather, come out, come back in. Whatever you need tonight, do that. Lifting and lengthening. Good. Just two more. We'll start to release the heels. As the heels find the floor, we'll start to draw the eyes towards the thumb. So a big opening in the front of the throat. As we inhale from here, we'll lift onto tippy toes, eyes at the thumbs. Exhale, let's bend into knees, eyes find the toes. And then inhale, let's straighten up the legs. We'll find the eyes at the thumbs. And then exhale, we'll dig deep into those knees, find the toes. And then we start to kind of propel the body forward and back. So if the arms are getting fatigued, feel free to come onto those elbows. Take a breather. So as if we're kind of sending the body into that low squat, shifting weight into high plank, and then just moving back and forth a few times. And we just have two more, little bit of heat in the body. Keep sending breath. Really nice. And as we take a pause, we start to find eyes on thumbs. Once again, let's start to walk the feet up towards the hands. So nice and slow, we find ourselves top of mat. As we inhale, half lift, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Just dive into your toes. So from here, kind of bending knees, wagging the tailbone again. We'll release the back of the neck and think about wrapping fingers around the elbows. So a slight bend in the knees, we'll start to sway side to side. We're just rocking the body. Maybe inhale to one side, exhale to the other. So if your blocks are near, feel free to use those. We're going to take a pause in center space. Release the right palm in between the big toes. The right knee is going to bend. We'll start to sweep the left arm around the left side towards the ceiling. And then here, just kind of peek down. Make sure shoulders are lined up. Make sure that bottom shoulder is right underneath the left. The fingers are awake and active. Good, yeah, feel free to use the block for a little extra height, a little extra support. As we slowly exhale, we forward fold, release into center. Just take a little small shake side to side, release the back of the neck. We'll again find a pause. Let's draw the left palm into center side. We'll bend into the left knee. We'll sweep over to right, so opposite side. So other options here. So you're maybe using the block. If that doesn't feel good, you can always bring the elbow on top of the knee to lift out of this posture if that reaches a bit too much. Inhale and exhale. Using that belly breath. Good, really nice. Slowly exhale, release. We'll start to really bend deep into the knees. We'll roll the spine. We'll come into a standing posture. So as slow as you can, allowing the head to be the last to rise. We start to draw the toes together. We'll inhale, sweeping arms around the room. And then exhaling, palms find each other, releasing to the heart center. Let's just take a moment to intentionally close the eyes. And if you tend to get dizzy, maybe keep a spot on the floor to gaze at. But we start to shift the weight into toes and then back into heels. And try to do it with your eyes closed. I know it can be scary, but just try to trust that you will catch yourself. And if you need to come out, come out. We match that breath to inhale forward and then exhale back. If you need to bring the feet wider to do this, feel free to just make that shift for yourself. Inhaling, exhaling. As we find some stillness, we'll gently inhale, open the eyes, release the fingertips. And we find ourselves top of mat. We'll slowly begin to shift our weight onto left side. So left side roots deep and just wrapping the base of the foot around the ankle to start. So really bring attention to that standing leg. Imagine you are a strong tree rooting deep into the floor. So toes are rooting. We lift the kneecap, engage that thigh. Let's start to lengthen through the spine. We engage the core, the belly center. We lift out of the crown of the head. Imagine that cable connecting us to the ceiling. And then as we inhale, we'll sweep the arms overhead. We'll bring the palms together and we just find that stillness. So I know a lot of us can probably go into a deeper tree posture, but let's hang out here for a moment. We're going to think about tucking the pelvis, squeezing the glutes and pushing the hips forward, and then reopening the heart center, dropping the the shoulders away from ears. Maybe bending deeper into those elbows. And then as we exhale, we'll release the palms. We'll start to grab onto the front of the knee. So if you need to come out, maybe shake out that leg, come back in. Options to also come off the mat if it feels a little too wobbly. So we just interlace those fingers. We'll roll the shoulders back. Okay, let's rotate the ankle. I love that. Open on up the foot. So we just find this balance. We find this patience, this acceptance of where we are tonight. Really engage through the standing leg. You might feel that heat and that burn. Just stay with it. Good things are happening. And as we slowly exhale, we'll just gently release. Let's take a pause. We'll shake out the other side. And then let's shift back in. Widen those toes. We're just going to reach back for the ankle. So again, shifting weight. We start to just draw the heel into the glute. Thinking about opening the front side of the hip. And if you can take a peek down, the ideal is to have at least the knees kind of flush with each other. Even better if you can bring it a little bit further, but all of our bodies are a little different. So do you. And then keep breathing, keep rooting. As we slowly exhale, we'll just release down. We'll connect those toes. We'll shake out the legs. And let's shift right on the other side. We spread those toes nice and wide. We'll start to wrap the base of that left foot around the ankle. Let's root deep into the standing leg. We'll lift the kneecap, engage through the thigh. Keep lengthening through the spine as if you have that cable connecting you to the ceiling. And then we tuck the hips. We really engage through the glutes. And then as you're ready, we'll slowly sweep the arms around the room. We'll connect the palms together. And then drop the shoulders away from ears. Maybe bend deep into elbows. And just hang out. Find the breath. Notice how this side might be stronger, might be weaker. You might come out and just come right back in. We're all practicing together. Really engage through the core, lift, open the heart center, tucking, pressing hips forward. Really nice. If you tip over, come back. And then slowly releasing the feet will find each other. We'll just shake out those legs. We'll find ourselves top of mat, inhaling, sweeping overhead. On the exhale, forward fold, hinging at the hip. On the inhale, we'll slowly lift, nice flat back. And then exhaling, rooting palms and bending into knees. We're just going to walk ourselves back into a high plank. Take a few deep breaths here. On the next inhale, the right knee will find the right elbow. Exhale, toes come back together, zip up the thighs. Inhale, left knee finds left elbow. Exhale, zip in. And just one more round, both sides. Take your time at your own pace. We'll lift those hips, we'll find our home base, we'll come back into downward facing dog. Pedal through the heels, the knees, lifting hips, relaxing eyebrows. Find that deep breath again. As we shift weight into the right toes, We'll root deep into that right thigh, lift the kneecap. Let's inhale the left leg towards the ceiling. And then find that kickstand with this left leg. Bend the knee, drop the heel behind those sit bones, open the left hip. Good. And then from here, bring a little bit more weight back into left shoulder. That left side tends to really open up, but keep lifting through the left hip. Good, find your breath. On the exhale, left knee slowly sweeps forward. Let's drop onto right knee or sweeping all the way through. We find a nice low lunge. The palms will come into the inside. And feel free to use those blocks if you want a little extra height. So we'll just untuck the back toes. We'll start to rock into this side. Take this time to just explore, unwinding, slowing down. Maybe releasing the back of the neck, relaxing those shoulders. Opening that hip flexor, side to side rocking. So we can either stay here, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, we can always come onto elbows. So find elbows maybe on blocks, maybe on blanket, maybe on mat. With this left knee, we start to kind of allow the ankle to roll over onto pinky side. And if it's available, we can start to place the left palm on inside that left knee and begin pressing out, opening the heart center, maybe even gazing towards the ceiling. And then keep coming back to that belly breathing. Remembering that mantra as soon as the mind starts to wander. Just bring it right back. Harness that focus. I am inhaling, I am exhaling. I am here tonight in my yoga practice. There's nowhere else to be. And as we slowly inhale, we'll come back through center. Let's place the palms on top of that front knee. And we'll start to lift a little bit higher out of this forward lunge. So as we inhale, we'll lift. Let's lengthen the front leg. On the exhale, let's dive a little bit deeper. And then inhaling, lifting. Exhale, we come forward. Let's release the palms. We'll inhale, sweep overhead. Exhale, releasing elbows into your cactus. Inhale, let's sweep. Exhale, we drive the elbows down. Open the heart center. Inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. As we exhale this next time, we'll draw the palms together. Elbow roots deep into that front knee, and we start to twist around to the side. So take your time. Really use the focus spot. Find a spot on the floor to gaze at. Really engage the glutes of that right side. And so if your left knee is forward, you're going to be twisting over left side. So we'll twist over the front knee. Good, yeah. Think about pressing the palms deep into each other to propel the heart into the sky. Relax the eyebrows. Another exhale will slowly unwind. The palms will find the floor. Let's tuck the back toes, and we're going to lift into a higher lunge. So feel free to use the blocks. I'm going to pop my foot forward because I feel too wide, so feel free to do the same. We're going to inhale, straighten up the front knee, and then exhale, just like we did before, but with the knee lifted. So it's this forward, tuck, straighten leg, inhale a little bit deeper. Good. Good, mindful movement tonight. Releasing the day, tuning into your body. As we start to lift the hips this next time, we're going to drop the back heel. We'll tuck the front toes in so we find this forward fold. And we just release the forehead. Maybe the palms find the floor, the elbows face behind the body. We start to kind of walk the hands back even more to propel the forehead, the crown of the head. And then bring awareness to the thighs. Let's lift into kneecaps, engage, engage. Press deep into the pinky sides of those feet. And then press deep into the palms, as if we're trying to just reach the forehead towards the floor. So options for this one as well are to really bend into knees, put the elbows onto knees, and then tip from there, using a little bit more support of the body. Good. As we inhale, we'll slowly inhale, half lift. Exhale, let's stay here. Power up the thighs. We're going to sweep the arms around the back, interlace fingers, open heart, and then exhale again, dive forward towards the floor. So releasing shoulders, allow everything just to melt, tucking chin, finding a new focus spot. Engage the thighs, shift weight into toes, and then use the breath to calm the body, calm the mind. You are strong, you are capable. You've got this. Filling the belly, and then exhale, releasing. We'll slowly start to lift the torso. Let's drop the hands behind the hips. We'll find the hands back on floor. Inhale, half lift. And then slowly exhale, we're going to head to other side. So we'll open up the right toes. We'll lift the back heel. We start to find ourselves in this nice low lunge opposite side. So let's take it all the way down the back knee. Try to go a little slower than you want to go. See what's there. Use those exhales. So we can either stay here, or if it feels comfortable, we can release onto elbows, get a little bit deeper. Again, just tune back in, open that hip flexor, that inner thigh. And if you're on your elbows, we might just lift the right palm to find the inside of right knee, start pressing away, and just keep opening up that right side. Gazing towards the ceiling, finding that breath again. Rolling the ankle onto the pinky side if that feels comfortable, of that right front toe. And as we slowly exhale, let's come back through center space. Inhaling, palms find the top of that front knee. We'll start to lift a little higher. And then we start to inhale, lift and lengthen. Let's straighten up the front knee. On the exhale, we'll release deep into our low lunge. Open up left hip flexor. And just find a flow, a pace for you that feels good, that can gently help you get a little deeper. Keep focusing on the breath. And wherever you are in the cycle, we'll start to add those arms in. So we'll inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, dive forward, draw the cactus arms in. Inhale, sweeping overhead. Exhale, releasing. And just a few rounds at your own pace, in your own style. And next time we're lifting and lengthening, we'll take a pause. We'll start to exhale. Let's draw the palms together. We'll dive deep into that forward lunge. The elbow will bank into that front knee. And if you feel a little too wide in the legs, always feel free to adjust and come a little bit closer so you feel steady and stable. If it feels too hard, I love how some of you are using the blankets. Feel free to add that cushion or kind of tuck your mat in half. You can always just create a little extra give for yourself. So palms dive deep into each other. We open the heart. The elbows are active. The shoulders are away from the ears. And we keep coming back to this sensation of belly breathing. We fill the belly. Inhale through nose. Exhale, draw the navel into the spine. Engage. Just 2 more breaths here. Good. As we slowly exhale, we find the floor. We'll start to tuck the back toe, and then palms are rooting deep into the floor. We'll lift the back leg. We'll sweep the legs together. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, stay here. We're going to go a little higher with this forward lunge. So maybe using blocks or fingertips. So we'll start to lift hips and then lower in this deep forward lunge. Think about hips staying square. Sometimes that left hip wants to open up nice and wide. Keep bringing the left hip forward, sending the right hip back. Forward and back lunging. Really nice. As we lift and lengthen, let's take a pause. We're going to bend deep into back knee and take a few hops forward so feet will find each other. And then we find ourselves top of mat. We start to inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And then exhale, the palms will find the heart. We'll just take a nice rotation so we can all face each other again. Good. On the exhale, we start to just step back with the right toes. We'll start to sweep the arms into our high crescent. On the exhale, let's drop the heel. We'll open on up to warrior 2. So from this space, we think about reaching through the front fingertips as far as we can. Inhale through center. Let's reach through the back. And allow the neck to open, allow the shoulders to open. Just keep diving deep into those big toes, as if the thighs are rolling behind the body. You tuck the pelvis forward. And we take a pause here. In the center space, we'll just drop the front elbow onto knee. We'll sweep on over. Take a nice deep breath, opening that right side rib cage. Lift the shoulder out away from the ear. Open the heart center. Exhale, we'll lift and lengthen. Let's straighten both legs. We'll power up the thighs. We'll start to tip behind the body. Just try to avoid any pressure on that back knee, either above or below. And as we inhale, we'll come back through center space. I'm again popping forward, so keep adjusting yourself. We're going to reach the fingertips behind the body, interlace, and then start to just bend deep into the thigh, as if we're gluing the ribs into the knee. And then tucking, bowing the head, taking a few deep breaths. As we inhale, we'll lift and lengthen through the crown. On the exhale, let's just release those palms. We'll take a big step forward, big toes find each other. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, releasing to heart. And we'll just start to step back with opposite foot. So the left side this time, we'll start to find our high crescent here. So feet are hip width apart. We think about squaring into those hips. So we'll sweep the arms. And then as we exhale, we'll drop the back heel. We find our warrior two. The thighs are rolling back. We're tucking the pelvis. We're lifting through the heart center. And then we'll start to reach through the right side. Inhale through center, reach through the left. And just a couple rounds here. Take your time. Allow the whole body to get into it. Opening and closing. Good. As we come back to center, we'll take a pause. We'll start to bend that front elbow into the front knee, sweeping overhead. And then as if we're kind of unshrugging the shoulders, we'll open the heart and drop the shoulders away. Good, rotating the ribs, gazing towards the ceiling. Inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. Let's start to straighten up that front leg, power up the thighs, and we tip behind the body, just avoiding the knee, putting that pressure above or below. And as we inhale, we'll sweep on over. We'll reach behind the back, interlace those fingers, opening the heart. And then squaring up hips, we'll come deeper into that front lunge, as if we're resting the ribs, gluing the ribs onto that thigh. Release and tuck the chin. Slowly lower. Doesn't matter how far you go or how far high you can reach. Just go in that direction. This is your practice. As we inhale, we'll lift and lengthen. We'll unwind those fingers. And just popping through that back leg, we start to find ourselves top of mat once again. Inhaling overhead, exhale, palms. Release to heart. On the next inhale, we're going to slowly find ourselves on our sit bones. So we're gently sitting through our Utkatasana and then just finding our way. Maybe we can make it in one sweep, or maybe we take a pause. We find those knees will come onto the hips and we'll just gently make our way, extending through the legs. We'll start to power up the arms, pointing and flexing. So getting ready to make our way into lying down position, we'll slowly engage the core, zip up those thighs, and as slow as you can go, let's see if we can all just hang out as slow as we can. We slowly release onto the floor. The body is shaking, the breath is heavy and deep, and just really take your time, tap into every single ounce of energy and focus, and gently releasing. And whenever you're there, good, keep going. We'll sweep the arms overhead, full body stretch. Reach through fingers and toes. Inhaling, sweeping arms overhead, the knees will come into the heart center. We'll give ourselves a nice hug. And just rocking and rolling side to side. As we take a pause, we start to allow the knees to fall out to the sides into this surrender butterfly. We might rotate the ankles again. Opening the hamstrings, maybe massaging the inner thighs, bringing a little awareness to that area. And as we exhale, we'll slowly draw the knees together. And then again, pushing the knees out back into this butterfly. So we kind of find this tuck and then this opening sensation, this open and close. And then feel free to head in the opposite direction. So same move, just opposite way. Low back presses into the floor, eyebrows release. We find some stillness. Let's exhale, heels find the floor. We'll retuck those shoulder blades. The palms will lie flat. And we start to press deep into the heels. As we press the low back into floor, let's squeeze through the glutes. We'll lift into our half bridge. So as slow as you can, we start to lift the pelvis and peel the spine up towards the ceiling. And just really take your time. As you peak, take a big inhale. As you lower, start to exhale nice and deep. Really slow, releasing, connecting tailbone, connecting those hips. Good, slower than you want to go. Take your time. Let that spine lead you. Rooting deep into heels. Palms are nice and flat. And the next time you find yourself in your high half bridge, we start to roll shoulders under. We'll reach the fingertips towards each other if that's available. Interlace the fingers. The palms might find each other. And we start to drive deep into the floor with the wrists, the elbows, the tops of the shoulders, lifting those hips nice and high. Keep using that breath, sending breath through the body. As you're ready, we gently exhale, unwind the shoulders, release those fingers. Slowly reconnect the spine. Inhaling, knees come right into the heart. We find a nice big hug. We side to side rock. Massaging the tailbone, the low back. And as we exhale, we find some stillness. We'll start to release the right leg. The left knee stays nice and tucked. We'll rotate the ankle. On the exhale, left knee draws across the navel over to opposite side. We come into a nice lying down spinal twist. So really take your time. There's no rush to get into that deepest space. Use the exhales to get there. Feel free to use the blocks and blankets as support. We might reach out with the left fingertips, gazing towards the left fingers. And then just softening the eyes, finding a gentle gaze, or just closing those eyes. Using the exhale to unwind. Couple breaths here. If you'd like to go deeper, we can place the right palm inside of left hip crease. So just below that bony part into the fleshy part of the thigh. And as if we're pressing the thigh away from the ribs, we make a little bit more space in the hip flexor, the psoas. We can start to reach the left fingertips overhead into a deeper stretch. And as you're ready, slowly unwind. We reconnect the hips to floor, knees come back into heart center. We give ourselves a nice deep hug. Finding stillness, exhale, left leg releases to floor, the right knee tucks in. Taking a breather, rotating ankle. And then sending right knee across the belly center, rotating into this opposite side spinal twist. So just allowing the knee to fall. We might gaze towards the right fingertips. Using those exhales to get you into those deeper spaces. Just use this time to keep slowing down, relaxing the eyebrows, maybe closing the eyes. Making more space. We can either stay here if you want to go a little bit deeper. That left palm finds the inside of left hip crease. We start to push the thigh away from the ribs and then open on up a little bit deeper. We can reach the right arm overhead. And then keep breathing, keep sending those deep exhales. As you're ready, we'll slowly unwind. We'll start to draw the hips back to the floor. We'll, again, give ourselves a nice hug, side to side rocking. And then as we find stillness, we'll reach for the outsides of our pinky toes. We drive the knees into the ribs, the shoulders. We find our happy baby. Side to side rocking. Just taking a breather. And as we slowly exhale, knees will find each other. We start to release the legs. So we'll start to move into our final resting posture of Shavasana. If you have any other postures you'd like to get in tonight, maybe you have a shoulder stand, a full wheel, a pigeon posture, continue to keep stretching if you'd like. Otherwise, if you're ready, we'll just lie all the way onto our back. We'll release the heaviness of the head. We'll tuck those shoulders. The palms will face the ceiling. And I'll just be walking around with some adjustments, with some blankets. If you prefer not to receive, just let me know when I approach. So we take this time at the end of practice to slow down even more, to marinate in this juicy energy and heat in the body, this calmness in the mind. We start to gently bring awareness to the crown of the head. We slowly take inventory once again. We notice this new space that we're in. We keep tuning back into breath and body. We gently send the breath through the body with each exhale, checking in with the eyebrows, behind the eyes, wrapping around the temples, the ears, the nose. Keep finding those deep breaths, bringing awareness to the jaw and releasing any tension you might be feeling. We continue sending breath through the jaw, around the neck, through the side of the neck, the front of the throat, the back. You just notice how the body feels tonight. Inhaling, filling belly. Exhale, releasing that breath through the shoulders, down the elbows, the wrists, the fingers. We inhale that breath back up the arms. We find the space at the heart center. We feel our heart center open and vibrant and alive, grateful for our health and our movement, receptive and aware. Continue sending our breath down the ribs, wrapping around the ribs, the low back, the belly center. Continue deeply inhaling and exhaling. We send that breath around the hips, the tailbone, the sit bones. Just wrapping breath around the thighs, over the knees, behind the knees, down the calves. You start to find the ankles, the toes. Big exhales. And on your next exhale, we begin to bring awareness to fingers and toes. We might begin to rotate the ankles and the wrists. Maybe opening the jaw, squeezing the facial muscles, rolling the shoulders. Just bringing ourselves back to this yoga space. There's no rush. Whenever you're ready, begin rolling onto right side. Maybe resting the arm, the head on the arm, and just taking your time as we transition back to a seated posture. Just bringing those blankets and pillows with us. As we gently find our way back to a seated posture, we root deep into sit bones, we refresh the posture. We start to notice this breathing pattern once again. We'll inhale, roll the shoulders to ears, exhale, dropping shoulders behind. Just a few rounds. Inhale, lift, exhale, release. Filling the belly and then slowly releasing. As we exhale, we draw the palms to the heart. We'll intentionally close the eyes one more time. Just take a moment to acknowledge this moment, this practice. We start to really notice the body. We realize that this breath is something that we can take with us throughout the rest of our evening, into the rest of the week, in times of stress, anxiety, whatever comes up. This breath is here to help root us, to ground us. And as we inhale, we draw the thumbs to forehead. We release shoulders away from ears. As we close our practice together, we give thanks for our movement, for our health, this beautiful community here. And as we exhale, we bow to each other. We bow to the practice. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing. Happy Monday again. Yay, so good to have you guys. We'll drink lots of water. We might have some tea coming. Yeah, take your time getting up. I hope you enjoyed the practice. I'm going to go check on that tea. Oh, thanks. Thank you. What kind is it tonight?
Soothe, so there's turmeric, cinnamon,
Oh, turmeric cinnamon. Awesome.